She find a way, baby. Fever down. Bow.
Man, I think it's the next step up mentality as far as players. Our shifts keep changing. Everybody doing a different role, and so I think we all got the mentality where you give and you sacrifice.
The Indiana Fever just pulled off a shocker that absolutely no one saw coming, without Caitlin Clark even stepping onto the court, facing a Dallas Wings squad hungry for an upset and reeling from a brutal loss to the Sparks the night before. Every single sign pointed to a complete disaster. The whopping 2,409 strong crowd had shelled out big bucks expecting to witness the epic Clark versus Bucker showdown for the very first time in the WNBA. Instead, they got something infinitely more remarkable. What unfolded in those nail-biting final minutes will fundamentally change how you view this Fever team forever. And Aliyah Boston's 6 words after the game, they perfectly encapsulated why this win isn't just a win, it's everything. If you're riding with the Fever, smash that comment button below and type, "I've got the Fever. Let's go."
Yeah, I think for us, it's about knowing that basketball is a game of runs. And they made their run in that third quarter. And honestly, just continue to stay composed and take it each possession at a time is something that we've been working on. And so for us, that was our focus, is get a stop, go down and score, get another stop, and we try to get a kill.
Imagine this, a colossal matchup, the kind that had the entire WNBA universe buzzing. Clark versus Buckers, the undisputed #1 pick of 2024, squaring off against the anticipated top pick of 2025. This wasn't just some run-of-the-mill regular season game. This was the showdown everyone had been counting down to since draft night. The Dallas Wings knew they had a goldmine on their hands, so they pulled out all the stops and made a massive executive decision. They moved the game from their usual humble College Park Center to the colossal American Airlines Center, home of the Mavericks. Think about that for a second. You don't just shift a game into a 20,000-seat arena unless you're absolutely convinced you're about to make history. Fans went absolutely wild, snapping up tickets faster than you can say WNBA. The hype was everywhere, social media was melting down, and this was poised to be the record-shattering event that would prove just how far women's basketball has truly come. You feel me?
I found out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It's just, it really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
Then, bam. Clark's nagging groin injury flares up a mere 2 nights before tip-off. Suddenly, the most hyped matchup of the entire season transforms into one giant deflating question mark. You've got tens of thousands of fans who dropped their hard-earned cash specifically to see these two phenoms go head-to-head, and now the main event might not even hit the court.
I feel a disappointment for them more than anything because, you want them to see her at her best and us at our best. I hate that for fans. But at the same time, again, for us as a team, and for Caitlin as a person and player, her health and wellness is the priority.
But here's the kicker that dialed up the intensity even further. The Fever had just gotten absolutely clobbered by the Los Angeles Sparks the night before. We're talking about a team that looked completely lost, adrift without their star running the show. The pace was glacial, the ball movement was non-existent, and Aliyah Boston barely got a sniff of the ball. Everything that makes Indiana a threat just evaporated into thin air the moment Clark wasn't on the hardwood.
I think the biggest thing for us is our attention to detail in our screening. We've got to be great screeners. We got to make sure we slow down and use our screen and our spacing. We've had some games where our spacing has been poor, and that has not allowed Kelsey to get downhill, and it hasn't allowed space for Aliyah to get going either. So I think that the two most important things for us right now offensively is attention to detail and screening and spacing.
Dallas was practically salivating. They knew exactly what happens when the Fever play without Clark. The offense turns predictable, Boston gets completely sidelined, and the entire system implodes. This looked like the perfect gift-wrapped opportunity for the Wings to dominate a wounded, struggling team. But then, the unthinkable happened. Even with Clark's status up in the air, a staggering 20,409 people still showed up. That's right, they shattered a new Texas women's basketball attendance record, and the marquee attraction wasn't even guaranteed to play. Just let that sink in for a moment. What does that say about the sheer power of this rivalry and the explosive growth of women's basketball?
We'll start Ari today. We'll start her and bring Sid off the bench a little bit. I don't want to take Kelsey out of what she naturally does instinctually on the wing and overload her from a point guard perspective. So with having Ari and having Sid, they'll give us a couple different looks right there.
The Wings strutted into that arena convinced they had a wounded animal cornered. But then, Coach Stephanie White dropped a bombshell, shocking everyone by starting Ari McDonald for the first time, completely ripping up the expected lineup. No one had a clue what this new-look Fever team would bring. What unfolded next would reveal a fire within this squad that even their biggest fans didn't know existed. The stage was set for either total chaos or something straight up magical. The first quarter kicks off and something truly unbelievable happens. The Fever don't just survive without Clark, they explode right out of the gate. Ari McDonald unleashes an energy nobody anticipated. She's pushing the pace like her career depends on it, driving hard to the basket and getting everyone involved in a way that makes you completely forget Clark isn't even playing. Dallas thought their game plan was simple: shut down Kelsey Mitchell and watch the Fever crumble, but suddenly they're dealing with McDonald's relentless downhill attack, a force they were utterly unprepared for. She's ripping their defense apart, creating lanes that haven't existed all season long.
Can't finish.
As a big, you gotta lean in. You can't be falling away.
McDonald has been outstanding.
And here's what makes it even more jaw-dropping. McDonald went absolutely perfect from the field in that first quarter. She wasn't just chucking up shots, she was making intelligent plays that unlocked opportunities for everyone else. The Fever started the game by draining their first 7 shots in a row, 7 straight makes to open the game. You simply don't see that kind of flawless execution very often.
Inside, can't get it. Lee Yu-Ru can't. Here comes Natasha Howard. 9-0 run for Indiana. Lexi Hull carries the 3.
It seemed that
You got to get out on her, ladies. She's shooting 51% from beyond the arc.
this is a rough.
Suddenly, Aliyah Boston started getting the touches she had been desperately craving. You could practically see her confidence soaring with every single possession. She was getting the ball in prime positions where she could truly inflict damage. The Wings were forced to respect McDonald's blistering speed, which in turn opened up acres of space for Boston to operate down low. She scored with incredible efficiency and vacuumed up rebounds like she'd been waiting for this exact moment all season.
Shooting to open the game. The Wings are only 2 of 14. Howard lobs it inside Boston, and Maisha Hines-Allen got lost. Allowed for the easy 2.
And you challenge Natasha, and she's going to get in the paint. And so the defense has to step up to protect the drive, and now she puts that air on the ball, and AB is able to finish that shot at the rim. That was beautiful.
The crowd that initially came solely for the Clark Bucker spectacle was now witnessing something entirely different. They were watching a team discover its true potential, learning what they could become when every single player stepped up together. This wasn't about one individual carrying the entire load. It was about 5 players moving as a perfectly synchronized unit. By the time that first quarter wrapped, Indiana held a shocking 33-13 lead. Let that sink in for a second. They outscored Dallas by 20 points in a mere 12 minutes. Even the Dallas fans were on their feet, applauding the sheer brilliance of the basketball they were witnessing. You don't often see that level of respect from opposing fans.
This is what they do.
Yep. Sometimes you're going to have some back-to-back games. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get in the gym and practice. You got to.
Good night. And once again, the seasoned veteran schooled the rookie. Kelsey Mitchell started catching fire during this stretch, but she wasn't forcing anything. The impeccable ball movement was creating effortless looks for everyone on the court. Mitchell dropped 10 points in the first quarter alone, but she did it seamlessly within the flow of the offense. This wasn't just about replacing Clark's points on the scoreboard. It was about the Fever unearthing what this team could truly become when everyone rose to the occasion. The foundation was laid for something truly extraordinary extraordinary, but the real challenge still loomed. And here's where the story gets absolutely wild. Dallas began clawing back hard, and that comfortable lead started shrinking at an alarming rate. The Wings figured out how to dissect the Fever's defense, and they started draining shots that had missed in the first quarter. You could feel the momentum shifting, sending shivers down the spines of Fever fans. Then, Paige Bucker started putting on an absolute clinic. She poured in 27 points and etched her name into WNBA history with a flawless stat line that left everyone's jaws on the floor. Buchers became the first player ever to record 25 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 0 turnovers in a single game. That, my friends, is the kind of performance that single-handedly wins games and defines careers.
Paige is just such a smart player. She reads defensive well. She knows how to pick you apart. And so when you play against her, you have to make sure that you're aware of where she is at all times. And also she does a great job of putting her teammates in great position. So for us, I mean, I feel like it's kind of similar in college and in the league. Like Paige is just playing great basketball and making sure that she sets up her teammates for the same.
With the Wings relentlessly chipping away at the lead, cutting it to single digits, that all too familiar panic started to creep across the arena. This was the exact moment the Fever usually crumbled without Clark on the court. The pace would grind to a halt, the ball would stop moving, and players would start pressing, making terrible decisions. Every single thing that went wrong against the Sparks the night before felt like it was creeping back into the game. But Kelsey Mitchell flat out refused to let this slip away. She flipped a switch, going into full-on takeover mode with shots that would make even Caitlin Clark proud. Mitchell exploded for 32 points and 7 assists, hitting an incredible 11 of 17 shots from the field. More importantly, she made the perfect play every single time down the court. She wasn't forcing bad shots. She was creating opportunities for her teammates while expertly taking control of the offense.
Every little thing matters.
Mitchell gives it up. Natasha Howard, beautiful shot. Howard with a double-double of 12 and 11.
Indiana by a hair. Aliyah Boston stepped up massively in the clutch moments. She delivered defensive stops when the team absolutely had to have them, and she grabbed crucial rebounds that kept possessions alive. Boston finished with 21 points on 9 of 14 shooting, sinking all 3 of her free throws. She was doing all the little things that championship caliber teams demand from their big players. The crowd was going absolutely insane. They were witnessing 2 teams refusing to back down, trading massive shots like a heavyweight title fight, neither side willing to concede an inch. The energy in that arena was electric in a way that only happens during truly special games.
Incoming! Yo, great job. Okay, great job. We weathered a storm. We found some toughness in the fourth quarter to be able to get stops and to execute, right? We grew tonight. I mean, it really, everybody just good stuff, okay? Good stuff all around. It's a big time win for us on a back-to-back at the end of a tough road trip, so good stuff.
Hey, one more. Coach's 100th.
Yeah! All right, let's go. Here we go.
With mere minutes left on the clock, Boston glanced out at the sea of Fever fans scattered throughout the massive arena. You could literally see something click in her eyes. This was the moment she would later describe as every game feeling like a home game. Those vibrant Fever jerseys were everywhere, injecting an infectious energy that somehow travels with this team. Mitchell and Boston then combined for the decisive surge that ultimately sealed the 94-86 victory. They proved this team possesses a championship-level heart when it matters most. The fourth quarter belonged to Mitchell, who completely took control, executing every single play the Fever needed to close out the win. After the game, Aliyah Boston stepped up to the microphone and delivered 6 words that perfectly encapsulated the entire evening. Reporters grilled her about playing without Clark. They probed about the immense pressure, desperately trying to understand how the Fever had pulled off such an incredible win against a Dallas team that had every reason to believe they'd cruise to victory. Boston looked directly into the camera and simply said, "Every game is a home game." Those 6 words hit differently. Suddenly, everything clicked into place about what had just transpired in that arena. The boundless energy, the unwavering confidence, the way this team played like they undeniably belonged on that colossal stage.
There were a lot of Fever fans today at the game. What does it mean to you to just have their presence with you wherever you go?
Every game is a home game. I think you see that. People show up, they show out. I think it's great for this league, just people continuing to come to games and watch, because I think when people show up to watch a game, they might have came for one person, but they leave liking many more. And so I think that's the way you look at it, right? You've had this arena that's filled and people are coming in, they're like, whoa, I like her, she's tough. And so I think it's just great for the game.
She went on to explain how Fever fans travel literally everywhere the team goes, creating that infectious energy no matter what arena they're playing in. You could feel it radiating throughout the game. Those scattered Fever jerseys, the cheers that swelled louder with every big play Indiana made, the standing ovation that erupted from sections filled with dedicated fans who had traveled all the way from Indiana just to back their team. This win wasn't just about snatching a victory without Clark on the court. It was about proving that the connection between this team and its fan base runs far deeper than any single player. Boston emphasized that fans might initially show up to see Clark, but they leave loving the entire team. That's precisely what happened with those 2,409 people who flooded the arena. They came expecting the Clark-Buckers matchup, but instead they witnessed something even more special than the game they originally paid for. They watched a team discover its true identity. They saw players rise to the occasion when their superstar needed them most. They experienced the kind of basketball that forges lifelong fans.
Likewise, I take pride in wanting to see people I've never seen before. So when you see different players that you admire and they want to support us, it's kind of like, oh man, they actually take heed to what we do and what we bring to the table as a league. Like she said, you kind of appreciate the fact that people want to watch us play. It kind of brings confidence to the game.
Kelsey Mitchell perfectly echoed this sentiment during her own post-game interview. She talked about how the team's confidence skyrockets when they see those familiar Fever jerseys in the stands. Mitchell highlighted that the team's ability to drive to the basket and create opportunities becomes infinitely easier because of that unwavering support. It creates this incredible positive feedback loop where the fans energize the players and the players in turn give the fans something truly special to cheer about. Those 6 powerful words from Boston became the rallying cry that powerfully demonstrated this team's identity extends far beyond their superstar. It's about family. It's about a connection that cannot be broken by injuries or tough losses. It's about fans who believe in something much bigger than just one player. Boston's profound words perfectly captured something truly powerful about what this franchise has organically grown into. When your fans are willing to travel everywhere and create that home court advantage wherever you play, you haven't just built a team, you've built something special that transcends mere wins and losses.
Great use of the word urgency. That's honestly been the topic of conversation for us, is making sure that we have a sense of urgency on the offensive end, on the defensive end. And once again, leads did slip away in this game and last game, but for us it's about making sure that we turn that page, we get back the lead, we keep it, we get big defensive stops. And you understand, once again, it's a game of runs and you just have to make sure that you have the best one at the end.
This win wasn't just about taking down Dallas. It was about the Fever discovering they are built for something truly special in 2025 and beyond. They pushed their record to a balanced 8 wins and 8 losses, securing a strong 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. That puts them just 2 games behind Atlanta and a mere 4 back from New York. When Caitlin Clark returns healthy, she's coming back to a team that just proved they can step up and win when it matters most. That, my friends, makes them incredibly dangerous. The Commissioner's Cup championship game against Minnesota is on the horizon, followed by a fantastic 5-game homestand in Indianapolis. The future looks incredibly bright because they've forged something unstoppable. If you're riding with the Fever, drop "I've got the Fever" in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on your screen right now, and we'll catch you in the next one.